It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You're knowing what you are wanting. Yes. An evolving thing. You are enjoying how contrast gives birth to new desire within you. Yes, yes. You've reached the place where a fantastic new desire has been born. It has not yet been actualized. You're not quite yet living it. You have a whiff of it. The desire is clear within you, and you're still really all right with that. Yes? When you get to the place that you can, without any wavering, answer yes to that question, then you have it. Then you understand the process for deliberate creating. For when your desire has not yet been manifested, which means you're not driving it yet, or you're not living with him yet, or you haven't moved into it yet, or you have not yet added it to the balance in your account yet. And you are standing in a place of satisfied eagerness, then the alignment of energy within you is sufficient to allow a swift receiving of that which you are wanting. But if the desire sort of tortures you, if once you've identified that you want it, when you think about it you're uneasy, then that is an indicator that the vibration of your desire and the vibration of your belief or your normal thoughts about the subject are not in sync. And so you are resisting it rather than allowing it for now. Everything is about vibration, isn't it? Such an interesting thing. And fortunately you have this wonderful emotional guidance system within you which helps you to read your vibrational content. Everything is vibrating, and so when you want something, that desire has a vibrational mood. And when you think about it, you have a vibrational mood. So if what you want feels hard to you, or unreasonable to you, or illogical to you, if you have not figured out how you're going to make it happen, or when it's going to come, or who's going to bring it, or how. In other words, those questions of who and what and where and when sort of trip you up, because when you don't have answers to those questions, then you often feel uneasy. And that uneasy feeling is your indicator that your mood or attitude or belief or habit of thought or vibration relative to your desire is not where you're wanting it to be, not where it needs to be in order for you to have the actualization or manifestation. So you see, there is the asking, and there is the answering, and then there is the allowing. 3 parts to the process. It's a much easier way to approach it. When we talk about science of deliberate creation, you all get that look on your face, that determined human, I'm going to make this happen look. And we like you to be determined. We like it when you identify what you like. We like it when you make many decisions in a day. We adore this time-space reality that gives birth to desire within you. We think that is perfect. But we want you to discover the deliciousness of the receiving mode, because it is what is natural to you. So the 3 points are: 1, ask. You can't help but do that. 2, answer. That's not your job. Source energy answers. 3 is your job. It is the most important job. It's what we're talking about here all day today, job. It is the letting it in. So there is asking, there is answering, and then there is your work, which is allowing. So you ask, source energy answers, and you've got 2 choices. You can allow or resist. You can receive or not receive. You can let it in or not let it in. You can feel good or bad. Good feels good. Bad feels bad. You laugh. We hear you laughing. And yet many of you, many times every day, still are stuck on the idea that struggle and sacrifice and the discomfort of much too hard of work will get you to where you want to be. If you want something and you believe that hard work is required, and you offer hard work, there is a certain amount of alignment in that. More alignment, in fact, than if you want something and believe that hard work is required and don't offer the hard work. So, the way you've been playing it is, you want something, you believe that hard work and struggle is required, you offer the hard work and struggle, but you resent it a little bit, so you're really not lined up. Or, you lay on the beach and feel guilty, and you're not lined up, and you say, I can't win. And we say, not that way you can't. The way you win is by getting into sync with the laws of the universe. And when you understand that the laws of the universe say that which is likened to itself is drawn, then in your attitude of struggle or pain, you are not a vibrational match to the joyful life experience that you are wanting. Good. You're hearing all of that very clearly. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. We will assist you in recognizing as we are chatting together, whether in your discussion you are locked on or locked off your signal. In other words, the greatest benefit that we can offer you is by helping you to be consciously aware of your receiving mode, because that's the only thing that matters. We want to call your attention to something that many of you are missing, even those who have been studying this science of deliberate creation for a number of years. The asking and the receiving usually don't happen in this red-hot moment. There is usually an asking mode and a receiving mode. And often, after contrast has stirred you to some powerful desire, in the awareness of that desire, especially in the beginning of your awareness of it, you're often not a vibrational match to it. In other words, you hear us say, you never know that you want more closets than when you don't have enough closets. So there you are in your too small of closet, trying to find something, pawing through. You know it's in here somewhere. And in that frustration, it just shoots out of you. I want a bigger closet. But in that moment of frustration, you're not in the receiving mode of the bigger closet. And what we noticed with so many of you is that the majority of attention that you give to your desire is in that frustration mode of knowing that it isn't. In other words, in your loneliness, you desire a relationship. But every time you think about a relationship, you feel lonely. Or when you go to pay your bills and there's not enough money, you really want more money. But in your fear or discomfort about not enough money, you're not a vibrational match to more money. So here's what we want you to hear in this. Launch your desires all day long as you are. Don't worry about that process. It happens naturally. But then, every chance you get, let your dominant intent be to be in the receiving mode, which means today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for that which makes me feel good, to look for that, whether I'm exploring past, present, or future, let me look for those things that make me feel good. Some of you are hitting this process of deliberate creation so head-on that you are determined that you're going to make it happen. And when you are determined that you're going to make it happen, you are usually so aware that it isn't happening, and that's why you've gotten very determined about it, that you're holding yourself in a place of not allowing. So here's what we really want you to hear. You're launching rockets of desire all day, every day. And then if you were dangling your feet in the ocean and happy doing it, you'd be in the receiving mode. Or if you are basking, you're in the receiving mode, in the allowing mode. Or if you're petting your cat and enjoying it, half as much as the cat does, you're in the receiving mode. In other words, what we're saying to you is, you don't have to work so tenaciously at this process of deliberate creation as you've been thinking, but you do have to spend more time in the receiving mode. This friend that we were telling you about, who was so frustrated that we were telling her that she must be doing that thing she does, she said, well, how many times a day do you think I'm doing that thing? And we said, 2,000 maybe. On a good day, on a day where you're out and about, observing, interacting. 2,000 times, she could not believe it. He said, well, don't worry so much about that. In 2,000 times of negative emotion, which is doing that thing you do that's not letting it in, if 200 of those times, just 10%, you are aware you have negative emotion, and you stop in awareness that you have negative emotion, and just stopping in awareness that you have negative emotion diffuses it right there, that's powerful motion forward. And if 10% of those times you're actually able to take the thought and move it to a better feeling place, you've had a very good day. It takes far less than most of you realize, once you are consciously aware of your vibrational output, to begin to outputting more in harmony with who you really are. It's not difficult. And because law of attraction is working so powerfully around you and through you and in and out of you every day, then the slightest little adjustment in your vibration brings different manifestations. And those different manifestations give you something more positive to view. And so the better it gets, 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 the easier it gets, the easier it gets, the easier it gets. And the more sensitive you get, the more sensitive you get, the more sensitive you get, so that you catch yourself in the more early subtle stages, so that you are more of the time in the allowing mode, which means the things that you've been asking for all along begin to flow powerfully into your experience. And then those who don't understand anything about vibration or about law of attraction look at you and say, what is your magic? Your life goes so well. We want to say to you that you could never hear a word of any of this. You could be totally unaware of law of attraction. You could be totally unaware of the power of your emotion. You could be totally unaware of letting it in or not letting it in. You could be totally unaware of Abraham or any other conversation about any kind of source energy. And you could have had a grandmother who at an early age said to you, appreciation is the key to life. Look for things to appreciate. And you could have started out as a youngster looking for things to appreciate, and you would be, today, the most powerful allower on the planet. In other words, you don't have to know any of this. You just have to want to feel good and be willing to choose the thought that does. There is such extraordinary freedom. In fact, it's the only freedom that we know, in discovering that you can feel the way you choose to feel, because you can turn your attention to that which you want to turn your attention. So many of our physical friends, when they see something that makes them feel good, they feel good. But when they see something that makes them feel bad, they feel bad. So then they believe that they have to control the conditions so that they can feel better. Let's pass laws, let's enforce them, let's lock up people who disobey them, let's make other countries agree with us, let's get all religions to agree with us. And we don't know if any of you have noticed, but it's not working out very well for you. In other words, it's hard to get them to conform, no matter how strong your force becomes. And so what you discover is that this universe was not established in order to find a few good ideas and then enforce them around the universe. This universe is a universe of variety and diversity. That's where its strength and future lies, is in the variety which gives birth to the new idea. And it is a wonderful environment because every consciousness that is focused gets to choose what it prefers. Source energy answers immediately and has the ability to do so. And then, if you are in the allowing, receiving mode, then you receive the benefit of that which you are wanting. And the truest freedom is when you discover that no one else has to change anything that they are doing in order for you to feel joyous. And when you discover that, then you have truly become an allower. We are pleased that you have joined us in this Art of Allowing gathering. We are eager to talk with you. You are ready to begin? You'll discover that there are some who will ask your question even better than you. And you remember what we were saying earlier about how you are rarely in the mode of asking and receiving at the same time? So since you are rarely in the mode of asking and receiving at the same time, often if somebody else is asking your question, there's a much better opportunity for you to receive it. So since we are aware of what every one of you is wanting, and since we are aware of how the best way of helping you receive it is, we are anticipating a powerful, dynamic unfolding, and we expect that together we will take thought beyond that which it has ever been before. It is truly co-creating at its best.